Hello. So, while Facebook Live is warming up, let me give you a beautiful smile and welcome and say hello. Here we are. Oh, just a little bit away. Yep, how's that? Looks good. Alrighty. Hey everyone, welcome. I see there is one curious eye at the screen on the screen. So please let me know if you are joining live. I would love to say hello to whoever is here doing this live with me. I want to welcome you to the first day of my best free course I have done ever. Now, people say this to hype up their stuff, and I have done it too, but this time, with every cell of my being, I mean this that this is one of my best offerings, and this is almost, there's nothing that I'm, what can I say, filtering out from what I teach in my paid programs, but there's no other way to help y'all to get to nail your compelling book idea. So I'm absolutely honored that you are here. Hey, hi. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. I don't have to share it in any groups. We are good. All right. So, for a bit of an intro, if you have not met me, I think some of you all have met me, hung out with me. Some of you all have worked with me. You all have been seeing my work for many, many years. But if you are new to me, I am Shilpa of Shilpa Book Coach fame, if if that's what I can call it. But that's what my Facebook page is also called Shilpa Book Coach. That's my handle on Instagram as well. You can find me like that. But the fact about me is that in 2018, I did six figures in my business off the back of my book and twice. So one, I got an extension of a corporate contract of a training contract with a multinational pharmaceutical company, just because I was able to share my book. Y'all can see it properly. I think so. Yep, yep, here. So my book, which I sent to my manager and the decision makers, and proposing and telling them how good I am at training and expressing myself and bringing about cultural change in the corporate environment. And that was a 180K contract. The next time I did, what I did was I started helping coaches, consultants, just like myself, who wanted to write books. And I've got a whole heap of books that I have here with me, but I'm just going to show you a couple of really beautiful books, Gifts from Grief, My Faded Uniform by Stephanie Altus, and there's so many. Yeah, this one I cannot not show. Creative Rebel by Mary Griesbach. So these are all coaches, consultants, leaders in their space who had a very powerful story to share, but they just did not know how to package it because there was a lot of emotions attached. Hey, hi. There were a lot of emotions attached, because they were, there's not so much detachment when you have gone through the PTSD, losing someone to taking them their own life, or losing someone to cancer, losing someone to an accident, suffering from PTSD yourself. There's so much emotion, there's so much emotional attachment. It's really hard to look at your story objectively, and that's where I came in the picture. So by helping other coaches write books, I was able to, of course, these were my clients paying me, and that's how I made six figures in 2018 again, through my clients, right? So, but it's not about writing a book. They paid me, and I was able to do the six figures not by selling my book, or it's because they were able to reclaim their power. They were able to realize a dream. They were able to finally package their story, feel like they can now be heard, feel like they have expressed themselves, So it's all those, all those human, desires, which are universal desires. Uh, that's what make the difference. So why I'm saying this is because, even when you're thinking of writing your book, it's not about writing a book. Like anyone can just dump a ton of words onto paper and print it and publish it. That's very easy. But to put something which is meaningful, which is relatable, and which is relevant to, to the world out there, which is adding value, which is healing people, which is creating ripples, which is impacting lives, bringing about transformations, even in the smallest of ways, and to be proudly able to back it and to own it and say that, yes, I wrote this book. That's what, this is all about. I am so fired up. I cannot wait until we, get deeper into this stuff. So yeah, like their books have helped them, reclaim their self-worth and the power that they had given away to the world by being apologetic about their imperfect existence. And I think, I can totally relate to this. I have almost lived an apologetic life, always, apologizing for who I am, how I look, how I conduct myself, how I speak, everything, for my existence. I've apologized. I have felt not good enough. I've felt like I'm an obstacle in some everyone's path. So that's what we are, going to change. Okay. So if that sounds like a great intention for this course, please give me a hell yes in the comments. And by the way, I apologize because I missed addressing the ones who are going to watch this on replay. So if you are watching this live on replay, please share your comments, and I'm going to catch up with all your comments and engage and get in touch with you, in the evening when you watch it and when I have your comments. So let's keep the conversation going. Okay. So first, let's get started. And Yeah, so I help people write books using a four-step pathway, and there's four pillars to it. I call it the M4 pathway, uh, and the four pillars the four M's stand for message, model, mission, and miracles, right? So today we are going to dig deeper into the message pillar and clarify your book's central idea, okay? And if that sounds exciting to you, then you're in the right place. Woohoo! Okay. So first question, rhetorical question, right? Hell yes, yes, they're coming. uh, why are you here? Yeah. And I know why you're here. You are here because you want to write a book, right? I'm making a very bold assumption here, but it's very clearly, you have opted in, you have registered, you have signed up, you've given me your name, you've joined this. Yes, this is so interesting. Thank you. You have put your hand up to be a part of this journey, right? So I'm assuming that you are here because you want to write a book. So my next question is, why? Why do you want to write a book? And like the main thing I'm focusing on is not about you, it's about why book? Yeah. So people have so many reasons, so many reasons to write a book. But so many of them are just influenced by the noise that they have heard in the outside world, right? The publishing world, like, meaninglessly talks about this thing called legacy. Yeah. And yeah, they refer to like leave a legacy. But we forget, we just get so obsessed about this keyword, which is a hot word, which looks good in marketing copy. But when did we last really think of or connect with what legacy really means to us, or to you, right? And I think, so while I'm unpacking why do people write books and why do I want to write a book, I would love to invite your comments. Please tell me what's coming up for you. Why do you want to write a book? Yeah. So we'll, together we'll just come up with a good bunch of reasons as to why a book is our preferred mode of expression, right? So legacy, right? And when I think of legacy, and I'm totally guilty, right? I used to think that yes, if I leave a book before I die, um, like the world will know me. But it's not. I'm not really aiming to become a Gandhi or a Mother Teresa, right? That is like real legacy. But legacy is as real if my daughter, long after I'm gone, can read things about my journey which she did not have the understanding which she did not have the awareness to grasp when she was like 6 years old and 10 years old, while I was going through uh, challenges in my life, and I was overcoming them, and I've packaged my story and my gifts in my book, right? So even if I can leave my gifts for one person, for my daughter, I will believe that's legacy enough, because if the book really touches her, then she will pass it on to one more person, and that person will pass it on to one more person. So um, if I could only tell you one thing about legacy, then it is that legacy and impact is never made in millions. It's always made one person at a time. It's easier said than done. Like, it's really hard to imagine that an ocean is actually filled up of like countless drops and droplets of water, but it is the building blocks. It's like the one unit of impact is one person, one life, right? So let's focus on who is it. Like, does legacy really excite you? Does it really move you to uh, you know get going, to move forward, to take the next step, right? So what does legacy mean for you? Please, post in the comments. uh, yeah, like, it means, to me, it means I have a story to tell, and a lot of people will, I believe that a lot of people will resonate with, right? um, yeah. I'm just switching screens, so bear with me. Yes, keep your comments coming. I love to read your comments, and I just want to hear, get to know your side of the story and what your take on legacy is, right? So, my reasons, I told you, legacy. Some other key drivers that I'm feeling very strongly in my current journey is the grounding. The grounding. Like, just imagine, I'm going to take one book, okay? I'm going to take Mary's book, okay? If she, as an author, now has her story, has her method of coaching, like packaged in a book, and it's not just theory. It's not like, yes, a grow coaching model has goals, reality, obstacles, way forward. It's not that. So, Mary, actually, each of my clients, in the process of sharing their story, they created their unique coaching model, right? Uh, oh, wow. The lessons I've learned aren't for nothing, and other people can learn from them and resonate with them. Absolutely. And as I shared in a comment in the group earlier, you're still standing. You know that song in Survivor, or I don't know, there's this one TV show, but I'm still standing, right? I'm still standing. That really excites me. It always brings my awareness to the fact that I better be grateful in this moment, that I have been still kept standing on this earth, on the planet, because there's incomplete work, there's work to be done, there's my message to be shared, right? So yeah, I was talking about grounding. It just gives me so much grounding, so much certainty. It gives me an anchor in my business, especially if you're looking to grow a business, or uh, yeah, increase your reach through your book, which most coaches are. They are taught to write a book to grow their business, but then they've just made the process too robotic, and that's what I want to take away the robotism, and bring back the humanness in book writing. I think I must quote that. Okay. So creativity, it's your book, right? So you own the canvas. You can write it however you like to. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that. That's exactly. You just gave me the chills. I feel it. I feel it. I know, like especially when I think you're referring to the I'm Still Standing song. And it is very real. It is, yeah, when we focus on it, we realize, oh my God, it's really, there's a reason why I'm still standing. So, yeah. Coming to creativity, right? So many people all the time ask me, Shilpa, how many words in my book? How many chapters should I write? Or, how should I structure them? What's the best title? Should I have what, like color photo, black and white photo, like random, irrelevant things, and these are safe problems. I will come to that in a bit. So, use your creativity, use the opportunity that you have space for creative expression. You can express yourself the way you like, because it's your book, you're self publishing it. You get to decide who drives the bus. You drive the bus. Yeah. Oh, I have so many reasons. I can keep going. So keep posting your comments if anything's really coming strongly to your mind. Um, but yeah, I haven't heard why you really need to write a book. So do share with me your reasons. Another one of mine, which is a big one, is contribution. And this is like a healthy expression of contribution. I have, for the largest period of my life, I have been that person who always doubted myself. And in the name of kindness, I downplayed myself. And in the name of kindness, I didn't have any boundaries, because I thought saying no to someone would mean that I'm bad, I'm mean, I'm rude, I'm not kind. But once you take back your power, once you take stock of your life, and once you're really willing to show up in the world as a leader and bring about change, you know, that's when you can contribute with healthy boundaries, right? So if you're willing to let go of, your old dysfunctional sabotage patterns, but you really want to make a difference, you really want to contribute, then contribution does not happen by having what can I say, you know, unclear boundaries or poor boundaries or no boundaries at all and allowing people to walk over you. Rather, it happens in a way where you're saying, okay, I'm taking my place at the leader's table. I'm taking my place at the author's table. And I'm going to do this for myself and so that I can really contribute in a meaningful way, you know, rather than thinking that people pleasing is contributing. So that's not. Worthiness. And again, I think I already touched upon this in the sense of boundaries and contribution, it's, it's, it gives you a sense of worthiness, that it doesn't give you a sense of worthiness. You have to claim your worthiness. You have to, you have to believe you are worthy enough to write a book. And once you have written a book, it's kind of a ripple effect. It's kind of a vicious cycle, that goes on repeat. So when you decide to take back your power, when you decide to own your worth, that's when you write a book. And when you write a book, it just gives you evidence. It's evidence that I did it. I could actually do it. I did not have to wait for anyone's permission, you know. Um, Again, I've written expression, creativity, same thing. But like it really gives you the space to express yourself, like you don't need to be on a on a TV channel. You don't need airtime, right? You have your own airtime. Like here, I don't need to get on national TV. Hey, hi, I'm loving this. Thanks for joining, ladies. This is warming up. So I don't need airtime on national TV. I just create my own airtime by choosing to go live, by choosing to share my message, and by choosing to write my book, and by choosing to help my clients write their books, right? It's also like it helps you reclaim your power, find your voice, rather than, constantly ruminating and regurgitating the voices of the, like the noise of the market. So it's a process of allowing yourself to, it's a process of allowing yourself to quieten your ego, to quieten your mind, to really go within, listen to your heart's voice, and your sane, your supportive, your guide. Your mind is not always bad. It's not only comprised of the ego. So there's the ego and the guide. You can listen to the ego and you can say, okay, I've heard you, thanks for the feedback, I'll take care, but you can take a back seat. But listen to the guide, listen to the voice that is within, and listen to the guide that makes sense of all the emotional journey that you have gone through. So standing up for what you believe, right? uh, whose example can I give? Actually, everyone. So I think I've recently shared this beautiful snippet of this book. This is such a small book here. Yeah, can you see? It almost fits in my palm like this. Yeah, My Faded Uniform by Steph Altus. She is an ambulance officer and she suffers from PTSD. Uh, she decided to stop being a victim and to share her story openly with the public as to how she developed PTSD as a result of serving the community. She's an ambulance officer. She has seen a hell lot of, stuff in her life, in her work career, right? And yet, without having yesterday's trauma healed, today you are called on duty to attend to another traumatic accident, right? Imagine that person's life. Uh, yeah. So, she stood up for what she believes, and she kind of, instead of hiding in the shame, in the stigma, in the taboo of her story of PTSD, she decided to own it proudly and wear that badge that, this is what my faded uniform has given me, right? It is also a system, it is a declaration of, what you stand for, of your stories, like I can just keep going on and on about why to write a book. So that was the juicy segment of why we do want to write a book, okay? And yet something stops us from writing it, right? So there's so many reasons why we do want to write a book, right? There's so many reasons why you want to write a book. And yet there is this evil force of resistance which has many faces, and it pops up its ugly head when you least expect it, right? You have decided on the 28th of Feb, you decided, done. I'm going to write 500 words every single day for the month of March. Come March 1, you put your child to bed and you're like, oh, I'm too tired now. I deserve to sleep. Like, I can't do this. I'm anyways. And then you just kind of keep on making excuses, right? So, this is, I just want to uncover and expose for you the many faces of resistance, okay? And keep giving me a hell yes if that's what you resonate the most with, or that's what most stops you, right? Please, yeah, keep them coming. It just tells me that we are going good. So the first one, perfectionism, right? um, there is no perfect book map, right? None of these books are perfect. It's just that these books are published. So yeah, like, could this book be written another way? Yes, it could have been. But is it perfect? It is imperfectly perfect, right? This book is only 17,000 words. It's the shortest manuscript I have ever helped publish. And yet, the kind of perfectionism holds me back so often. It does everyone, like, and it's that's what, like, we need to kind of normalize this. We need to accept that it happens to me, and I'm not faulty for perfectionism stopping me, because I'm human and perfectionism happens to all humans. Hell yes, right? So I can see them. Thanks for kind of keeping on engaging. It just keeps the communication a bit two-way rather than just me talking at you. So perfectionism, right? Perfectionism, again, that I think that deserves an entire 1 hour unpack in its own, on its own, because there's so many aspects where we aim for perfectionism, right? Is my chapter title perfect? Is my chapter length perfect? Is my book length perfect? Is my book cover perfect? Is my book map perfect? Is my idea perfect? There is no end to it, right? You can keep on waiting, like, yeah, you can just keep on waiting till the cows come home, but nothing will ever be perfect and the book will never be out. So, perfectionism. Distractions, right? So, distractions. When you decide to write, just then, or you're like 5 minutes into writing and the dishwasher will beep, it's done washing. Or the washing machine will beep, it's done washing. And it's time to hang the laundry. And yeah, and it's time to hang the laundry, because this is like, this happens to me so many times. Like, the most boring thing, I never like to fold my laundry, but folding laundry will seem most appealing when you're writing, you know and I'm like, oh, they're dried in the sun. I think while they're nice and warm and sun dried, let me just fold them right now. That is always my motivation. I always like to fold just freshly hot sun dried laundry. But come on, like, it can wait. For writing, it can wait. But so many times it doesn't. Oh gosh, I needed to hear this. I know, like, we all need to hear this, right? Myself as well. I'm learning. I'm kind of learning from repetition myself. um, so yeah, laundry, cleaning the house, the lamest of things that we are called to do. Or we just think, oh, oh yeah, she had asked for that photograph. I have to send her the photo from the party that we had at the weekend. Let me just quickly WhatsApp her. Or like randomest things, what happens. Oh, let me pay that bill. Or let me text her. All those things. So I think I'm going to just touch upon the solution as well as I'm walking up, over these excuses or resistances. The one thing that has worked wonders for me is, like putting my phone on silent and turning it upside down like this, and not seeing notifications. Or some days, if I'm really brave, I even leave it in like 2 rooms away from myself, and I don't bring it to my office where I sit and write. So it's just these simple strategies that can make such a hell of a difference. Okay, the next one is big. But yeah, like, I wanted to touch upon the main thing behind distractions. So we think that we are getting work done. We think that we are keeping the house well maintained, but it's coming from a place of escapism, because just when you have started to write, your ego is trying to take control of the agenda, and you can't think of what to write. And you go into people pleasing mode, because instead of writing from intuition, instead of writing from your truth, from your spirit, your voice, you have started to think, what will people like to read? What will they think if I write this? Oh, I think I should write that. you know so that's your ego trying to look good, trying to keep you safe. And also, when you the thing is a constant juggle between head and heart, right? So your heart wants to take back control, and just when it is about to, say, okay, I have a phone jail, lol, it has a lock and key. That's amazing. I have to get that. Okay. So just when your heart is about to take back the control and, get you deeper within yourself so you can listen to your voice and write from that place again, like the switch happens like in fraction of a second. And just then your ego will tell you, like, it's hard, it's uncomfortable, forget it, Shilpa, why bother? And the ego gives you an easier choice, just write what looks good, write what you think will sell, write what will make you look good, but then your heart does not agree. Your heart wants to share its truth, right? And that's when it gets uncomfortable, because which means you'll have to do some emotional work, you'll have to do some quieting down work, so that the ego can go to rest and the heart can start to flow. And that's uncomfortable to go to that place. Once you're there, it really flows, it's smooth. But to go to that place is uncomfortable. And even if you do go to that place, that constant niggling thought, whether is it perfect, is it good enough, so that constant juggle between head and heart is so uncomfortable. And that's why we think escaping to a call of laundry is better, it's safer. There's no discomfort there. I just know I need to fold the clothes don't ask much out of me. um, yeah. Another thing that stops you from writing it is self-doubt and imposterism. Thinking, who am I? Why will anyone read my book anyway? Who's going to read my book anyway? You know, what do I have to share? I'm just an imposter. I'm trying to be someone I'm not. This is all your ego, right? Because your heart really knows, you have a meaningful story to share. Um, Downplaying your goodness in the name of humility. So, this I talked about earlier as well. We think that by not having boundaries and by pleasing people, we are contributing and we are serving and helping others. But really, we are kind of spoiling the balance of the universe, right? Because if we are allowing someone to mistreat us or ill treat us or not have boundaries, we are showing them uh, what's the way to do. Like, we're showing them the wrong way and they think it's okay to do the wrong way. They're not even aware. So, they're going to do this to someone else and they're going to even receive things with bad boundaries, right? Which is so, if you really, really want to contribute, like, hold your boundaries stronger, tighter, and contribute this way, write a book. So downplaying your goodness in the name of humility, right? Thinking, oh, so what was the big deal? I just, yeah, I just lost 10 kilos by eating healthy, mindful eating. Anyone can do that. Mindful eating, yeah. I would just ask myself this question, um, is this feeding your body or is this feeding your soul? Why are you eating this? What emotion are you trying to avoid? Is this something you really need? And I would just ask myself these questions, and I would listen to the answer, and I would choose very wisely. I would mindfully eat. I would not indulge in technology, in screens when I was eating. I would sit quietly and I would chew my food. I would um, I started drinking my food and eating my water, chewing my water. So, this is just an example, like, these are good things which I don't do so much of, which I know I should. So, I know if I do this, I will really lose 10 kilos, like, effortlessly. But, hey, am I ready to do that now? I'm not fully ready, it's work, it's emotional work, right? But someone who has done that, for example, and they just downplay their thing, oh yeah, like, it's no rocket science, yeah, I can just give you, it's a list of these 4 questions I used to ask myself all the time. You can do it too. But it's not like that, I mean, someone who's not ready, so someone has actually shared this formula with me, right? And for me, who is not ready, who has not fully emotionally committed to the path, right, will not get any results, right? Yeah, so was that service? No, they gave me something, I half received it, I didn't even execute it. But do you think they have a robust system? They have a very meaningful story to share. And why? What made them commit? What made them say enough is enough? I'm going to take care of the temple of a body that I live in, and I'm going to, do things differently here. Uh, so just downplaying your greatness, downplaying your goodness, and thinking, oh, I'm just simple, or this is just me, or, just don't want to come across as proud or braggy, right? Another thing is fear of failure, fear of success. So I want to pause here, and I can see three people, three of you all watching with me live. I'm so glad, I'm so grateful to have you all here, and we can have this conversation live. Please, please keep popping in what's coming up for you as you're hearing these, these faces of resistance. And I'm sure you have resonated with each one of them at some point or the other, at some time or the other, right? Um, so while I wait for your comments, I'll also keep going in the interest of time. So, fear of failure and fear of success, right? We either think, and this is again like, it's coming from perfection. We think if I write a book and nobody buys it, I'll be a huge flop and everyone will know and I'll be found out that I'm not good and I'm an imposter and I know that anyway, so why bother? Right? So it's coming from like they're all so entangled and they just like it's like the ego's ways of trying to stop you, and the ego has many mechanisms of attack, right? It's just gonna do everything in its capacity to stop you from being seen, being from showing up. So fear of failure, fear of success. Oh my god, like if I write a book and if like, oh, fear of success. So if I write a book, that means I'll have to create a pretty author website, which is a lot of work because I don't know how to create an author website. I don't have the money right now to pay a website developer. Or if I forget website, forget author website, but if I write a book and if that person finds out about it and she invites me to speak in her mastermind, or she invites me to speak on her stage, then what will I have to say? Then I'll be found out. I don't think I can do this. So, might as well, let's play small. Let's not do this. Fear of being seen or fear of being seen as too much. So, we all have these friends, like, we all have friends who we fear for some reason, I have friends and they are my most adorable friends, but because they are friends and they are not like, we don't mix business interests. They all have their businesses, but we met when we didn't have a business. We met as friends, and for some reason there is this fear, that fear of judgment or fear of mockery, like, what will X think of me? Oh my God, if I write that post, X is gonna see it and she's totally gonna think I'm acting too much. And this is all like created scenario, it's all imaginary. There is no element of truth in it. And even if X really thinks that you're being too much, how does it matter, right? So it's just about overcoming those imaginary demons you've created in your head, right? um, Comparisonitis, right? Same thing, like, the fear of judgment or comparisonitis, um, unnecessarily comparing to yourself to someone else. There is no parameter on this entire planet which can compare two people. I tell this to my daughter all the time. She has just started school. She's in reception foundation year here in Australia, Adelaide. And yeah, like, she often tells me, "Mommy, I won a race. I run faster than my friend." And is that comparable? I teach her it's not comparable. Like, you might be faster at running and she might be better at something else, right? So we can never measure two human beings by the same scale. Even in the, you know, I know, like, we have in this life, we have to kind of create modules, we have to create exams and tests and certifications and whatnot. But hey, like, that's a theory test, yeah? And that theory test is not taking into account the personal environment of these two individuals who are appearing for this test, right? There's this one, like, this used to happen a lot, especially in India. The social what can I say, the socio-economic gap is so huge. Like, there are students appearing for the 10th and 12th, year 10 and year 12 boards, and like all exams, who study And I'm not exaggerating, they study under street lamps. They don't have electricity. They live in huts made out of bamboo, you know. They barely have water. They get like 10 liters of water supply for the entire family for the entire day to wash, clean, drink, you know. What will a person, what will a family do with 10 liters? So anyways, like I'm just kind of deviating, but uh comparison, like the moment you try to, you know, the moment you go down that path, remind yourself that I don't even know what that person's backstory is. I don't know what they have gone through to be here today. I don't know what, you know, they don't know what I have gone through. And maybe they are shining today. I don't have, I need some time off. I'm going through burnout. I need to be, you know, quiet. I need to take rest. I need to switch off from social media, and that's okay. You know, just honor your journey wherever you are. Know that you are in the right place in the right time, right? uh, yeah, there's so much I can keep going on. The one most important thing that I wanted to touch upon is stigmas, taboos, and story shame, right? So what's the story shame? What's you know, the you know, like, beyond all these reasons that I've touched upon that's stopping you from writing your book and sharing your story, it all boils down to what meaning you have made out of all of these forms of resistance, right? There is a story, there's a, like a, you know, cohesive story that you've been repeating to yourself in your head, you know. But this happened to me, and then I did not do that, and then I missed that, and then I was just, you know, I failed, and then I had a failed launch, and then I put my service out there and no one bought, and I have no clients, and you know, three people bought from me and two asked for a refund. Whatever your story is, it means nothing. It just means the meaning you have chosen to give it, right? So today we want to disarm your shameful story, your story shame, right? And at the end of this video, I'm going to post, I'm going to share, you know, a homework post, and I'm going to share, you know, yeah, like a prompt that I would love to for you to do homework on. Yeah, I don't want to like think of a creative word. It is what it is. It is homework. I would love you to do the work. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. I will tag you all, right? So on that note, we have enough reasons to write a book, and we also have enough reasons to not write a book. We've just touched upon that, right? So, you know, there are so many reasons, so many obstacles, so many roadblocks that is stopping you, trying to stop you, dissuade you from writing a book. So here, I want your answer. Whoever is live, and even if you're watching the replay, please, you know, comment in the comments below. Can anything dissuade you to give up the goal completely? Can I say or do or offer you any reward to say, hey, you know what? Just please give up your goal of writing the book because, you know, there's enough reasons not to. And I'm going to give you this reward. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to pay you X amount of money, but please don't write your book because what's the point? You didn't want to write anyway. So, can I make you change your mind? Can anything on this planet make you change your mind about writing your book? I'm going to wait for like a few seconds because, you know, knowing your response is really important here. No, no matter what it takes, I want to put my story out there. That's all. That's that's enough for me to hear. Uh, you know, and like, you know, yes, this is not for me, but I hope in writing that and in hearing that from me, you have heard, you know, like, you know, your ego is hearing that too, and your heart is kind of going on a you know, bit of a yoo-hoo, you know. Yes, so we are totally doing this, like, no matter what, you know that you want to put your story out there. You know, there can be like 100 reasons to not write a book, but there'll be 101st for which you will write your book, right? So Today's process is about connecting with that, and it's about overcoming that story shame and identifying your life's essence. Okay, and with that, I want to share with you a beautiful yes, no, sorry, no, I need to do it for me. Exactly, well said, because legacy and all will happen. That's the next step, but you can't get stuck thinking of what if this book isn't legacy worthy. That's like a vague perfection which you will never be able to nail. So write this book first for you, and then others will follow, right? So now, please stay hooked because I want to share with you a very beautiful story. And I learned it in my studies of the Pali language. So, in 2020, last year, somewhere around March or April, somewhere around like this time, I embarked upon. I've always been a practitioner of Vipassana, the meditation technique that the Buddha taught and started spread in the world. Vipassana meditation. Oh, thank you. You are so wise. I think we are all wise, and I take that. Thank you humbly. um, so this comes from my studies of Pali, and so I started learning the Pali language because the Buddha has left behind his wisdom in Pali language. So I wanted to like study it in its original form with like the juice, the wisdom, the depth. So I literally started studying like the ABCD of Pali, and we were taught sentence formations and word meanings and whatnot, right? And in one of the class, like so the classes were happening like twice every week, and they were progressing faster than I could cope up with, yeah, because I was having work and life and everything. So I was finding myself that I was lagging behind in the in my work, and I was almost considering quitting and thinking like, what's the point? I can't do it anyway. And then in that class, the teacher shared that the Buddha has stated 84,000 verses. 84,000. And like the perfectionist within me wants to do everything perfectly. So I was like, oh, 84,000, that's a lot. Forget it. Let's just give up Pali because I can't do 84,000 in this lifetime. So I was almost like, but my heart was fighting with my ego because like, no, you can't give this up. This is like, it's okay. Even if you learn one verse and you practice it and you embody it, that'll be good enough. So that was the dilemma that was going on. And just then, in that very class where they shared about like the 84,000, they shared this beautiful story. So, the Buddha, there was this one senior monk who had, graduated from Buddha's learnings. He was a student of Buddha, and he had kind of graduated, and he used to live separately, not in Buddha's ashram, but he used to live separately in a, in his, he used to live in silos actually alone. So he started propagating the message that living alone is the way to is an ideal way of life. Yeah. So I'm just trying to, yeah. So I was just trying to recall the whole flow of the story. So there was this, once Buddha's bhikkhus or Buddha's monks, they would attend this other senior monks lectures sometimes, and he would praise enthusiastically the message to younger monks that the most ideal life is a life lived in silos, and he demonstrated that by doing the same himself. So he would live alone, walk alone, sleep alone, eat alone, beg alone, meditate alone. Yeah. He would only interact with the villagers when he was doing a sermon for them, and and educate them on the benefits of renouncing worldly pleasures, and always used to encourage them to start living a solo life, right? So this started causing a lot of unrest amongst the Buddha's uh, other monks, because Buddha had, he had created a community of sorts, right? He used to live in an ashram with his monks, and Buddha was not living solo. So it was creating unrest because they respected the elder monk, but they respected Buddha more, and they knew that he is a product of the Buddha. So who's correct and what's going on? Where's the mismatch? So they went to Buddha and they said, "Dear Buddha," Thera was the name of the monk. "Dear Buddha, Holy Buddha, Thera has been teaching us this. So, but you don't live in silos. So, can you tell us who is correct? Can you tell us what are we missing here?" And Buddha had this very rounded way of, teaching or conveying his messages. Um, so he actually, he called for that monk, and he asked him, "Dear Thera, have you been teaching the people that the most ideal way is to live in silos?" And he said yes. And he said, "Can you tell me, how do you live in silos? What do you mean by what is your definition of silos?" And he said, by that I mean I don't talk to anybody. I just, meditate alone, sleep alone, eat alone, beg alone, walk alone, everything alone. And Buddha said, yes, that is one way of living an ideal life, but that is not what is my way of living an ideal life. And just so that there is no confusion about this ever, my definition that I have taught you, which you probably have misinterpreted, of living an ideal life, is to live in a silos of a moment. You know, it's really deep. So feel that. So living alone in this moment alone, like being present. That is the essence of Buddha's entire teaching. And that gave me so much hope that that lesson, it just came at the right time. Like they kind of threw a googly at me, but they also gave me the solution like in the same class. So I did not give up on my Pali studies. Although it has been a few months that I have touched my books, but I did continue at that time. So Buddha always taught to detach yourself from positive or negative emotions and to see everything as fact. And that's why, like, the way our ego is designed to make meaning out of everything. Oh, if I failed then, that means I'm not good enough, or I had a failed launch, or I was under depression, or I suffered whatever, like I was overweight, or I got PTSD. you know what does that mean? Like, if you got PTSD, what does that mean? Like, where does it say that A equals B? There are no rules in the world except the rules that you make and I make, and the world makes and we make, right? But we also have the choice whether we want to take that rule upon ourselves or not, right? So Buddha's teaching was to let go of the moment that was a moment ago, not worry or not get excited about the moment which is a moment later, but be fully present and do 100% justice to the moment that is right now. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this. I'm questioning myself. I'm asking myself, am I doing 100% justice to this moment right now? Which is yes. Sure, no worries. Catch the replay. We are nearly done. I'll look forward to your homework post and see your progress. Um, the essence, coming back to the essence, just one quick wrap up of the Buddha story. The teacher actually helped explain this story in such a beautiful way. She referred to seawater and sea salt, right? You know how whether you take water from the Arabian Sea or the, I'm just not able to recall names of seas, but like the Black Sea or the Dead Sea or any sea, you take the water from close to the beach or like deep within the sea. Seawater will always be salty, right? It just has one truth. Yeah. You boil seawater, and the essence that remains after the water has evaporated is always going to be salt, right? Seawater doesn't deceive you. It doesn't have two faces. It doesn't. It's not moody. It stands for saltiness. Yeah, and that's what Buddha stood for. He stood for like no other rules but living in the present moment, living in the present breath. This is all that life is made up of, countless breaths, and how we live and conduct through each breath is what becomes the essence of our story, right? So on that note, I want to, this brings me back to, oh, wow, we're at dot 12. So, nicely coming up to 1 hour, and it's time to wrap up. Let me know if you have any comments. Um, yep, I'm about to wrap up in a few minutes. I'm just going to share with you the homework prompts, and I will also share with you a very specific post that you can share with me later in the group. So, yep. So we talked about, I'm just going to summarize what we talked about, right? Why are you here? Clearly, you're here to write a book, right? Why? Why book? So we talked about all the reasons why writing a book is your chosen method of expression. And that does not mean that, you don't express via video or you don't do podcasts. But leaving a book has its own depth, and you like that, you appreciate that, and you want to have that experience, right? And then, I shared with you my reasons why writing a book is really important to me, and helping others really, own their imperfections and take back their power uh, is really important to me. Then, despite all the desires that we have to write a book and all the good reasons that we have to write a book, we talked about what still stops us from writing a book, right? And this reminds me that I did miss talking about safe problems and risky problems, but I have already done a Facebook live precisely on that video, on that topic a few days ago in the same group. So I'm going to tag you all in that video as well. Do have a listen. So what stops us from writing, right? But then, despite of all the obstacles, are we willing to stop, right? And that was the most, most potent question that I thought. If you're not willing to stop, despite all the obstacles, then there's a very good reason that all the not enoughness or all the imperfections are not good enough, right? We are good enough. The imperfections are not good enough. We are good enough as we are, right? Um, and then we talked about essence, right? So just like how Buddha's essence was to live in the present moment, to have no attachment to the past, and no anticipation or anxiety for the future, just be fully present in this moment. If you were to boil like the water of your story, and and to notice your essence, what would the essence of your life be? What is it that you stand for? What is it that people would say, oh, Shilpa, she really believes in this, oh no, she will not take that? Like, some of the things that I'm really passionate about and that are a part of my essence are fresh food, healthy cooking. I've been in Australia 7 years, and so many people tried to kind of dissuade me from cooking fresh food every day, and they were like, "You'll get there someday. You will start eating frozen food." And I was like, "No, that's not something I can put inside my mouth." And for I don't know, it's just my value. So that is one of my essence. And I think that's why when I teach book writing, I take my clients over a longish journey of 6 to 7 months. I have never promised or never tried to achieve a book writing project in, like, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, 40 days. It's not possible. unless you want to write a, just do a shoddy job. And yeah, all these people who talk about these 7 days or 10 days, it's never 7 days or 10 days. Nobody tells you about the planning. Nobody tells you about the, the preparation that takes to write that book in 7 days, right? So the preparation is totally deleted, like they're just kind of hiding that fact. And the publication and the editing is totally deleted. Heck, some people, some uh, publishers in the industry are not even editing your book. Like, anyways, I don't want to go down that path. That is coming. These are some truths that I need to share, but I will share that in a post. Uh, anyway, so what I stand for is a like a well simmered, well brewed, well thought, well felt. I want you to heal your story in the process of writing. I don't want you to mindlessly, robotically try to achieve some word count target, right? So, yeah. So, with that in mind, I want you to ask yourself, why me? Which is the answer is going to be, what's your essence, right? What makes you unique? What were the share of challenges that you had? What have you got to share with the world? Without any comparison, without downplaying your journey. If you have overcome postnatal depression, and even though millions of moms go through postnatal depression in this world, that does not make your story any lesser. And that does not take away from your from the depth of experience that you had. So you have to be willing to honor your journey, just to be kind to yourself. That is real kindness, to be kind to yourself and say, yes, you did come out stronger, you did well, you did good, it's time to share. So uh, when you ask yourself, what's my essence, or why me, keep an eye, like, yeah, check in with yourself, like, pay attention. Is there something stopping you from still boldly and confidently answering that question, why me, without downplaying any of your goodness and strengths? So if that's coming up, then there's, probably some work to be done. uh, so to reveal your why me to yourself, ask yourself, are you truly focused on serving others? Like, are you truly looking at the truth without detachment from meaning? Are you truly looking at serving others and saying, okay, I've had this journey of postnatal depression and nobody told me that I should ask for more help? I always saw messages around me of being, super self-sufficient and, brave and bold and resilience, but no one told me that when I'm a new mom, I'm allowed to cry, I'm allowed to ask for more help, I'm allowed to sometimes feel like I don't love my child at all. I don't want this, new intrusion in my space. I'm fed up. I don't feel love when I'm forced to wake up in the night and feed him or her. Sometimes it's normal, right? Uh, I feel anger towards the child sometimes. I lose my calm. Uh, all those things. It's normal, it's normal that no one told me that I could ask for help and that would not make me a bad mom. So when you think of that, right, and how relatable it is and how relevant it is to a new mom who is going to, who is going to experience some element of postnatal depression, only in a different measure, right? Um, how powerful would your sharing be to her, rather than thinking, how does this make me look? Does this make me look good? How does this make me look in the world? Will people judge me? Will they say, oh, so she was evil, she was so cruel to her child, she was so yeah, she doesn't have a soft heart, or she's so all those things like judgment. So relevance and relatability are great measures of a good idea. Okay, so coming back, final wrap up and homework instructions. um, you have to share in the group, and this is going to be text post, don't worry. You have to share in the group your essence with the hashtag my essence. So be, precisely use the hashtag my essence, share my story shame, then share the gifts I ignored. What are the gifts I ignored? Because I was indulging in my story shame, right? And now coming out wiser on the other side, what is my gift in one line? What is my gift? What am I finally ready to share with the world? So this is how you actually share. You pitch your book or movie to a big publisher or to a big producer, right? So that's how you're going to just you're going to boil your essence in one line. But don't restrict yourself. If you think it needs 3 lines, go for 3 lines, But the key is to identify my story shame, the gifts I ignored, and now I realize these are my gifts and my essence is this. So I'm going to share with you in a written post straight after. I cannot wait. Thank you, Shilpa. That's exactly how I feel. I do feel stronger, and like by sharing, I will be helping others. Thank you. I think my time here was well spent just by that one comment. Yeah, one person. Just make change one person at a time. Um, so with that, let's wrap up. We will meet each other same time, 11 o'clock Adelaide tomorrow here in this group, and you have 24 hours ish to do your homework. And I'm also going to announce a lucky prize for doing your homework. So that's too much motivation for you to do your work. Keep an eye out for all the posts. Okay. Love you all. See ya. Bye.